right. Thank you, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. We have a full house, and I'm really excited about that. I hereby call to order the regular session of the Orange Unified School District Board meeting for November 17, 2022 at 7:15. Will you please stand for the pledge? Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We'll go on to item 3B, report of closed session decisions. Dr. Hanson?
There's nothing to report. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go on to item 3C, adoption of agenda. May I suggest, since we have a full house, that we move some items around? Can we move the state of the school report to first? Would that be okay? Everybody's okay with that? Okay. So, may I please have a motion to adopt the agenda?
And that would be moving item 4D to 4A.
Correct.
Yep.
4A.
Okay.
Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
All right.
I'll second.
Seconded by Trustee Page. Moved by Trustee Rumsey. Sorry. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, agenda is adopted. All right, we'll go on to the state of the school then.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce the item?
So now it's you. It's Ruby, right? Yeah.
She probably thought she had a little time, huh?
Are you preparing your speech?
All right, is this on? Okay,
Welcome, Ruby.
thank you. Good evening, President Yamasaki, members of the board, Superintendent Hanson, OUSD families, and my beloved El Modena ASB. My name is Ruby Hewitt, and I'm thrilled to present A Legacy Reborn on behalf of El Modena High School for this meeting's School Spotlight. Since long before I attended El Modena, the Vanguard community has been the unshakable foundation of our campus. I first learned of the Vanguard legacy when Santiago Charter Middle School visited while I was an incoming 8th grader 4 years ago. I learned about the iconic Spirit Week, the energetic dance team, our drama department, enthusiastic teachers, our extraordinary rowdy rooters, and of course, our historic football team. During my freshman year, I experienced all of those things and more until the COVID-19 shutdown. During that time, there was a temporary lull to the spirit that had been El Modena's status quo for years. However, in the past 2 years, the Vanguard community has seen our return as an opportunity to reinvent campus culture, making our student engagement stronger than ever before and our community outreach all the more vibrant. Students and teachers alike are reinvested in contributing to campus culture and making school not only a place to learn, but also a place to forge lifelong connections. In the last year, in preparation for our WASC visit, our WASC focus group team rebranded our school with the theme, Vanguards on the Frontline. We wanted to ensure that our entire community was inspired and ready to serve in the most optimum way. Students on the front line of academics and school life, staff on the front line of serving our communities, and administration on the front line of creating ever-evolving communities. In examining this theme, we were reminded of our decades-long legacy that has existed and continues to exist in our community. In just the first 3 months of school, it is clear that campus life is revitalized and our Vanguards are on the front line, beginning with our Hello from the Upside Down Stranger Things Welcome Assembly, followed by our Home Sweet Homecoming Assembly, and finally, our most recent International Assembly, which honors the diversity of our student population by highlighting our cultural clubs and classes for a full week. Not to mention the culminating extended lunch in which clubs like BSU, VSA, FAZE, and MECHA were able to fundraise by selling foods significant to the culture of each club. Our frontline journalism thrift continues to wow with their dollar deals and teaching students that the most sustainable garment is already in their wardrobe. We held a new Midnight Madness event where ASB, together with our families and teams, kicked off the winter sports season for all of our amazing athletes. And nothing says legacy more than our historic 11-1 football team with a 10-0 in-play season. Biasly, I attribute our winning streak to our Rowdy Rooters, who have never been better. Our families filled Fred Kelly Stadium, and turnout to football games has been an all-time high. This was best showcased at our homecoming game when, rain or shine, the Rowdy Rooters and our Vanguard community were present in full force. More class-wide bonding events have occurred this year than ever. Multiple movie nights put on by our senior and sophomore classes, as well as senior sunrise, Thanksgiving events, and our Vanguard Pride Day have allowed students to get some quality bonding time. Enthusiasm towards clubs has led to 10 new clubs this year, in addition to our returning 40 clubs. Just to shout out a few examples, our Women's League had an incredibly successful Walk for the Cure in October that generated $2,000 to be donated to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. Our new Ecological Research Club through the UC California Naturalist Program has taken on the project of restoring the ecosystem around the school while simultaneously doing a research project that will count towards naturalist certification at the end of the year, and our Red Cross Club continues to host life-saving blood drives. El Modena's legacy of dedication to our community would be incomplete without our teachers and staff. We have so many El Modena alumni who have returned to give back to the community that first supported them. Former Vanguard students who became Vanguard staff are Ms. Gillen, Mr. Finn, Dr. Chapman, Ms. Spanner, Mr. Calderon, coaches Matt and Joe Mitchell, Ms. Tibbetts, Coach Mole, Ms. Clark, Coach Imfield, Ms. Hoots, Mr. Rosas, Coach Hurtado, Coach Huang, and Coach Keefe. This legacy that these Vanguards have carried is a legacy that we intend to continue as we honor old traditions and begin to create our own. Our current Vanguard Nation is thankful for the footing set by our past Vanguards, and we are so excited to share our purpose with the Vanguards of the future. We've all faced challenges in these past few years, challenges that shook our Cardinal and Gold Foundation, and yet reminded us of who we are and what it means to be a Vanguard. We will continue to be Vanguards on the front line for our Vanguard Nation and our Vanguard community, overcoming obstacles and believing in a future that began long ago, a future steeped in legacy that began in September of 1966. We are because they were, and we will become because we are mighty Vanguards. So with that being said, thank you so much for your time, attention, and support, and enjoy this amazing video produced by Mole Film, former Vanguards who are on the front line of video production, highlighting the extraordinary power of legacy, and more specifically of the extraordinary El Modena football legacy. At the end of the video, we'll be honoring Matt Mitchell and his football program in their historic season for the legacy he continues today.
As a child, you would wait and watch from far away, but you always knew that you'd be the one that would while they all play. And you'd lay awake at night and scheme of all the things that you would change, but it was just a dream. Here we are, don't turn away now. We are the warriors that build this town. Here we are, don't turn away now.
was a great video.
Thank you.
I loved how you matched the music to the scenes. I mean, that was powerful. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Thank you once again for your time today. It was my sincere pleasure to present A Legacy Reborn. I'd like to call Coach Matt Mitchell up to the podium. We would like to honor you as our legacy coach for your historic football season this year, for your commitment to the Vanguard community, and for being the symbol of legacy today. Thank you. I'm going to read the plaque. In appreciation of Matt Mitchell and El Modena football for always being Vanguards on the front line. And then the date. Perfect season, 10-0.
Yeah, we'd love to take a couple pictures. Is Sandra? Oh, good. Come on up, and then football community, we're going to take a couple pictures, and then if you guys would like to come up, we're going to take a mass picture. ASD, yeah. Oh, thank you.
I think this is their picture.
Why don't we get all the coaches, no?
Mr. Irvin, is the robotics yours? Can we slide it a little bit?
Perfectly aligned.
Just so they can take their pictures. It won't disrupt it, will it?
oh, orange. Oh, not them. Oh.
Hey, I'm good. Everyone good?
Good. Love the haircut, Coach.
There's the team. There's the team.
I'll stand in the back.
Oh, wait, there's Derek.
You should probably be in one of them for a change, huh?
Yeah, come on.
Okay, one here. Oh. Come out. Evelyn, back up. And one here.
Excuse me, Madam President?
Is this for the
Madam President, I've got a question. Excuse me, question.
question? Oh, me?
What's next for the team? Playoffs, right? Are they? Yeah, are they in the playoffs? We lost in the second round. Sorry to hear that.
Thank you, Ruby, for a fantastic presentation. We're proud to have two Vanguards on our board, Trustee Erickson and Trustee Ledesma. And Trustee Erickson's kids also went to Elmo, so we're well represented here. Does anyone else have any comments? Any input?
Congratulations.
All I can, I'm sorry.
I
go
just
ahead.
say congratulations, and that video was awesome. Awesome.
All I can say is when I went there, the films that we watched were an 8mm black and white.
Thank you, Ruby.
So I know the football team left, but the Vanguards lost at a tough battle against Bishop Diego in the second round of the CIF playoffs. Incredibly proud of the team, a 10-0 team in the school, the first 10-0 team in the school's history. So really big celebration. I knew there was something on Twitter that I read about how significant this was, because in the whole history, they had never had a 10-0 record and made it to, I guess it would have been the second round of CIF finals. So
Right.
really, really impressive and great team. And congratulations to the seniors on the team,
Yeah.
who I'm sure have been celebrating all their amazing accomplishments.
And Ruby, do you want to introduce your principal and anyone else who was up here?
Miss Mull was here. I'm not sure if she already left, but she's the activities director.
We have Sandra Preciado, our principal. And Miss Rivera is one of our activities directors, and Miss Mole is the other activities director.
All right. Thank you for joining us tonight. All right. Moving on, we have item 4A, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Hanson?
Yes, well, now that we've celebrated the Vanguards, we're going to celebrate Orange High School. We have on our agenda an item for the bid for Phase 2 Measure S for Orange High School, which will include several of the student buildings and refurbishing the administrative student services center. So if those of you have been to Orange High School, the student services or the student entrance to the administrative and student services area has a historic wing with lots of trophies and an incredible amount of history. So we asked our communications department to put together a little video to commemorate Orange High School, because when they start demolition, that building will no longer be there. That houses, we'll take out all the historical artifacts, of course, and save those and put those in the new building, but that building will no longer be there. So we put together a video, thank you to the communications team, that we'd like to share with you, because we're celebrating tonight. Not only the Vanguards, but the Panthers are going to get a new facelift in front of the school and a wonderful place to put that amazing history on display. So if we could play the video. Thank you.
Losing this is losing some of the ambiance of what Orange is all about. Just walking up that front step and seeing the logo on the front of the school, just think about how many people have been through this school, how many people have walked these halls. Thank God the community voted for the bond. We needed it so badly, but it also shows that the community has an interest in this school and they want an upgraded, modernized school.
As sad as I am to see these amazing halls go, we are so excited to get a new building that's going to provide up-to-date technology and access for our students to just make an impact on this world.
It's kind of be a little bittersweet to watch this place where I've had so many wonderful memories just go away, but they're not gone out of my brain or out of my heart, just away. And we're going to create something brand new and living right here.
I'm very much looking forward to the new chapter in Orange High School, with a new face in the front, with new facilities that will serve the next generation, and I'm just excited to see it. Measure S Phase 2 here at Orange High School includes the construction of a 26,000 square foot new administration and student services building. Taking into account the history of the building behind me was an important task when designing the new project. Artifacts that are important to the community, trophies, the connection of the Townsend Room are all included in the new design.
Once a Panther, always a Panther.
We're very excited in Orange Unified School District to be able to modernize these incredible facilities and incredible programs that we can offer our students. So thank you so much to Mr. Rivera and his facilities team for the hard work. We have 2 more bids coming for Canyon High School and El Modena. We already completed the bid for Villa Park High School, so all the high schools are going to have additional work. They have their science centers, and we're really looking forward to offering our students truly a state-of-the-art learning experience with all kinds of safety features in place and just a wonderful campus for our children to learn. And I'd like to also thank our community again for supporting Measure S, and we continue to utilize those funds, and the budget that you'll see tonight presented, our bid came under, so we're saving money, and hopefully we can do additional work with remaining Measure S funds at our high schools. So thank you, and that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hansen. Okay. We'll go on to item 4B, President's Report, and so that's my report. Last week, we honored our veterans on Veterans Day, and there were many celebrations throughout the community. I would like to thank our veterans and military members who served. I'd like to highlight a couple of events that we had. First of all, Trustee Moffitt and I attended the opening ceremony at the Orange Field of Valor, and the Community Foundation of Orange organizes this heartwarming event to honor veterans, current members of the military, and those we lost with a display of 1776 flags. It is a great reminder of the sacrifices made for our great nation. Many of our elementary schools had field trips over there, and many of our students actually volunteered as well. Our Orange High School choir sang beautifully at the opening ceremony. My husband is also a veteran of the U.S. Army, and I'm truly grateful as a military family for events like this. It's very meaningful. The other event that we had is the board was invited to attend the 247th birthday celebration of the U.S. Marine Corps with the Orange High School JROTC. Trustee Moffitt and I attended along with Orange Mayor and members of the Orange City Council. The celebration took place at the Orange Elks Club, and I would like to commend Colonel Toll and Master Sergeant Mata, instructors at Orange JROTC program, for their work in supporting the program and cadets. OUSD former school board member Mark Whalen was there, and he's a retired Marine. And he was honored as the oldest Marine present. And I would like to especially acknowledge Mr. Ferns, who is the son of a former OUSD school board member who brought the program to our district. Mr. Ferns continues to support the program by providing scholarships and taking an active role in making sure the program is thriving. I also wanted to announce that I attended the No Canyon Jogathon on October 29th, and it's my understanding that it was a huge success, and I'd like to thank our parents at No Canyon for sponsoring a fun event and supporting our students. Trustee Erickson and I attended the Orange Treats in the Streets event sponsored by the City of Orange. OUSD had a booth there, and principals, teachers were there to help and greet the students and pass out candy and information about our great programs in the district. It was really fun to see a lot of OUSD students out there dressed up in their costumes. Since our last board meeting, I had the opportunity to visit Portola Middle School 2 times. And Portola Middle School started a program called Portola Prep. Each month, the school focuses on a school-wide event that focuses on a theme. And it could be CTE related, it could be career related, it could be about history. And October, Trustee Erickson and I think she's going to talk about it some more, attended the celebration of Dia de los Muertos. And recently I attended the program that was focused on the military. So students had an assembly to see the Orange JROTC open with a flag ceremony. They wrote letters to military members showing gratitude while learning letter writing skills. They got to see military vehicles. The students had the opportunity to speak to members of the military as a career path. And I'd like to thank Christy Dorth, Principal Jeff Morgan, and all the teachers for your innovative way in supporting our Portola Matadors. And that concludes my report. So I'm going to open it up to board members if they have anything, if they wish to speak. All right, Trustee Erickson.
All right, hello everybody. Thank you for coming tonight. It's been very, very busy recently, and but we have been attending different things, and it's been fun. So I wanted to congratulate Portola Prep. That was a wonderful cultural event celebration that we attended for Dia de los Muertos, and the students participated in a variety of activities and contributed to the ofrenda, which we were able to see the day we were there. It was offerings or memories of their animals, so that was nice to see, everybody's animals. The Las Estrellas Ballet Folclorio performed a variety of dances as well, representing various states within the country of Mexico, and that was beautiful. They did a beautiful job. We also, Dia de los Muertos was also celebrated at the Jordan Academy of Language and Computer Science, and that morning was beautiful. The rain did not dampen their enthusiasm one tiny bit. They were just joyful singing their songs in Spanish and listening to Aztec storytellers and watching performances of these Aztec traditional dances. It was really, again, very beautiful. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of attending McPherson Magnet School's first grade performance of Character Matters. It was an adorable musical told from the perspective of various fairy tale characters who met in a town forum to solve their problems. They learned and sang about things like not eating Little Red Riding Hood's grandma, but they also talked more about, character, not judging a book by its cover, being a good friend, and the importance of good character, traits like honesty and generosity and patience. It was a great way to feel really good about going into a week of Thanksgiving, and hopefully something that the children, the parents, all of us can reflect on so that we can really think about what we're grateful for in the next week. Yesterday, we also celebrated the International Day of Tolerance, and I will just read the Declaration of Principles of Tolerance. This is a United Nations declaration that was passed in 1995. The declaration affirms that tolerance is neither indulgence nor indifference. It is respect and appreciation of the rich variety of our world's cultures, our forms of expression, and ways of being human. Tolerance recognizes the universal human rights and fundamental freedoms of others. People are naturally diverse. Only tolerance can ensure the survival of mixed communities in every region of the globe. And again, something else to reflect on as we move into our week of Thanksgiving. And I hope you all have a beautiful, beautiful week of celebration and get some relaxation. Thank you.
All right.
Ms. Yamasaki?
Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to also echo your recognition of the wonderful event that was held at the Elks Club of Orange. where the cadets of the Orange High School Marine Junior ROTC all gathered in celebration of the Marine birthday, 247 years old. And it was a wonderful event, and our students just were so exemplary. It was just so great to see them. They all had their fatigue uniforms on, except for the ones who were particularly in leadership positions, and they had their dress uniforms on. They all looked very sharp. And as I was talking to Mr. Ferns and thanking him for his continuing support of that program, I just observed that it was such a wonderful way to have these students be able to learn in a new way appreciation for the armed services, for the Marines in particular, and to be able to demonstrate to them what high esteem the Marines are held within our community and within our nation. It was just very inspiring, and the program at Orange High School is on the upswing. There are in excess of 150 cadets in the program. They learn so much about discipline, about leadership, about patriotism, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful program, and I'm very happy that this board has supported this program from its inception. It does a lot of good for a lot of students, so just wanted to fill in some of the blanks there about the program. It's really a great program.
Thank you. Trustee Page?
Yes. So this last month, in addition to Dia de los Muertos celebrations that were happening at Jordan, I also went to visit Dr. Sosa and Esplanade Elementary School. I received a tour from two of their student leaders, Emma and Elder, and they walked around and they set the entire agenda for the whole school site visit because they wanted to show me what they were proud of at their school. And so it was like an amazing visit because there were two upper graders who were avid students, and so I was able to share my avid experience when I was at Villa Park as well of what it's like to go through K-12 in OUSD. And while I was there, they were sharing different specialized rooms that they had for STEM, that they turned it into a pumpkin patch because it had been raining. They did their pumpkin patch inside. And something that Dr. Sosa was sharing with me was many of the students that attend the school don't have the opportunity to go to a pumpkin patch outside of school, so they created a pumpkin patch at their school site with a lot of support from community volunteers that went out to find the extra pumpkins at different pumpkin patches to bring them to school. And so every class had a chance to walk around the pumpkin patch. Every student chose their own, and then they turned them into pumpkin turkeys, and they used the feathers to write everything that they were grateful for. And while I was walking through the TK and the kindergarten classes, they were all writing their family members down on their feathers. So it was just a really neat pre-Thanksgiving school site visit.
Thank you. Yeah. Do I have any other board members who would like to say anything? I'd like to open the floor to student board members. Does anyone want to say anything?
Yeah. Hi again. So I just wanted to give a little shout out to our cheer. They're having a competition send-off showcase like right now in our gym that I would have loved to attend, but whatever, I gotta be here. But yeah, so I just wanted to wish them good luck going into their competition season and with their performance. I also just wanted to highlight that this week is our gratitude week as we go into Thanksgiving break. So every day at lunch, we've been having a different activity for all of our students to bond and share what they're thankful for and all that kind of stuff. And it's been super fun. Back at the very end of October, we had our fall festival, which is our VAPA showcase, or one of our VAPA showcases in our nature center. It was I can't even remember the theme. It was fall something, but it's a really fun performance to do that I'm on dance, so I always look forward to doing it. And then I also wanted to give Diego a little thank you. We both presented at the city council meeting on Tuesday with that new city council student liaison position. And I just wanted to give him a little bit of acknowledgement for giving us the opportunity to represent OUSD and give youth representation another place. So thanks for taking the initiative on that and giving that opportunity. It was a successful little meeting that we did our update at, and yeah.
Great, great. Not to put anyone on the spot, but Diego, do you want to talk about your football team?
Oh, look, he's ready.
Here, let me pull up my notes. Let's see here. Okay. So yeah, just to reiterate, yeah, this week on Tuesday was our first go at the City Council, and I thought it went very well. I could tell that the board was very appreciative of each of our reports, and while we were in and out, I could tell that we're going to be pretty much a mainstay from now on, so it's pretty exciting to have that opportunity now. Yeah. And to highlight something from earlier, to kind of just echo what you guys were saying about our JROTC program, I wanted to highlight that, yeah, they have been like tremendously involved in the community as of late. Just this past week, they've been all over the place, and I pulled up the wrong notes, but here we go. Yeah, but as you mentioned, yeah, just like November has just been like a packed month for them. They're, you know, the support for like the Fields of Valor program, like the cadets took down like a total of they helped them take down like 2,000 flags. Wow. They helped with pretty much everything going on. They also supported, you know, plenty of Veterans Day events, also like the birthday of the Marine Corps, all of that stuff. And that's just thanks to some of the amazing staff we have on that program, and I just wanted to highlight everything they've been doing for the community, which is amazing, of course. And then just as another mention for Orange High School sports, as you know, our football team is doing very well this season. We're still so far in the good for CIF. We have our semifinals coming up tomorrow at 7 p.m. at Fred Kelly. We'll be against the Loyola Club Cubs, and it's looking like we're going to be doing pretty good. So I'm ready to give it our all for tomorrow, so that's going to be exciting. And then something beyond football I also wanted to mention is while we never had much history regarding our cross-country teams, it's usually not a sport that many people think of. You know, it's like pretty much just running, racing, that kind of thing. But as a member of our varsity cross-country team, I wanted to highlight that this year was the first marked time in history that both our boys and girls teams made it to CIF, so that was a really remarkable achievement to be proud of. Now, unfortunately, we did not make it past the first round since we've had such a season, and some of those athletes have been through so much, and it's, you know, it's kind of hard watching some of them, you know, like myself included, we've had some injuries, but, you know, just the perseverance on that team that some of my peers have showcased is just remarkable, and the fact that they've been able to mark a part of Orange High history is something remarkable in of itself. So while we never got to go very far, I think it's just amazing that we were able to come as far as we went. And then just as one more thing I wanted to highlight, based on like college and career, you know, it's college app season and all that, especially the seniors are getting ready to apply to all of our dream places, and something I wanted to mention was regarding the sort of prestigious association that Orange High has with Chapman University. We have a program known as the Simon STEM Scholars Program, which Chapman University representatives from there come to Orange High and kind of handpick applicants from our junior class to qualify for this really prestigious scholarship for Chapman University, which is essentially a full ride to the college. And so just this Monday, we had our next cohort of scholars announced, and each of them will be awarded with a full ride to Chapman University come with senior year. And I don't want to brag or anything, but last year I was one of those representatives. So, yeah, it's just, yeah. it's just great to see the next generation come up as well. And it's a really promising group of students, I'll tell you that. We'll be able to do many activities with Chapman in the future, and it's just great seeing these scholars getting their moment. It's amazing to see that they've secured a future for themselves.
Right.
And yeah, I think that's pretty much my 2 cents for now. Amazing things are happening at Orange High, and they're only going to get better. So really excited for that new building, by the way. That was the first time I've seen kind of concept art of the building, and I think that's going to be amazing. As someone highly involved in STEM, I'm planning to major in computer science and really delve into the sciences. I think it's just going to be amazing for kind of Orange High's future. I think I'm really excited for that. I might not be able to experience it since I'm a senior, which is very unfortunate, but I think it's just great for the future of, our education. It's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both for your report. No pressure. Anyone else want to say anything else?
Hi, I'm Madison. I'm from Canyon High School. So fall sports did come to an end except for our cross-country team, which made it to CIF finals, which is a really big deal. They're really, really good this year. Last week, sadly, our football team did lose in round 2 of CIF, but we actually did really good this season. I think it's the best season we've had since I've been at the school, so I'm really proud of them. And we also won Student Section of the Week last week, which is a really big deal. So it shows our school spirit at Canyon. And we also had our fall musical, so shout out to our musical theater. And this week was our week of giving, so our canned food drive ended today, and it actually was a really big success, and we got a lot of canned food to donate. So yeah.
Great. Thank you. No pressure.
I don't know how to follow up all that. Let's see. So we did have national signing a couple weeks back for all of our athletes that got offers from colleges, and we did have 11 athletes that did get to sign, which is really cool to see. And we did have the football season that did end. We got knocked out in round 2. But honestly, I think we did really well this year because a lot of our starters did graduate last year, so it was kind of a new team. And there was a lot of coaching changes, so we didn't really know how we were going to do this year. But I saw a lot of the kids bond really well, and it was pretty cool to see how well they did with a lot of the changes that happened. And we do have a basketball season that's also starting this week. We picked up our first win. And I think it's going to be a really good year for basketball as well.
Great. Thank you for your input. Really appreciate it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe all 4 teams went to round 2 of CIF. Is that the first time it happened in the history of OUSD, or?
Yes, that's my understanding, and we have Orange High School tomorrow that's in the semifinals.
Right.
So all 4 football teams did amazing.
That's a big, big thing for us. Thank you. And thank you again. I did want to just mention, and I did forget in my report, several board members, Trustee Moffitt and Trustee Rumsey, and I went to the GoCat event that OUSD sponsored a table, and I just wanted to highlight that the students who perform, and Trustee Erickson, I'm so sorry. The students who performed were remarkable. A lot of them the performers were our students, and Orange High School Choir was there, OUSD Elementary School, which consists of kids from many of our elementary schools sang, and so I thought they did a terrific job, and so I wanted to just mention that, so thank you. All right, so we'll go on to item 4E, board recognition. You've got the EDGE Employee of the Month Recognition Program.
Thank you. Tonight we celebrate the You've Got the Edge Employee of the Month program for November. Certificated and classified employees are eligible. An award is given each month during the school year to an employee who exemplifies one or more of the district's core values of integrity, equity, respect, and excellence. This month we celebrate Dana Luciani, school nurse from Health Services, El Modena High School, and Joseph Conway, warehouse worker, delivery driver from Nutrition Services, who's been selected for this honor. So, Ms. Yamasaki. And congratulations. I know they're here in the audience to be acknowledged, and Ms. Yamasaki will be calling them up to get their awards.
Whoops. Excuse me. Okay, well, welcome Dana and Joseph. Both Dana and Joseph go above and beyond to serve the staff and students of the Orange Unified School District in ways that reflect the core values of OUSD's EDGE. Our first recipient is Dana Luciani. I'll go ahead and read. Modena Principal Sandra Preciado had this to say about Dana. Dana Luciani represents the OUSD's core values of integrity, respect, and excellence. Her dedication to the wellness of our students is commendable as she strives to provide them the highest level of care. Dana and I recently responded to an emergency situation together where she embodied true professionalism as a school nurse and took heroic actions to administer emergency life-saving care in a highly stressful situation. That day, I was beyond thankful for Dana and her actions, but in fact, we are all thankful every day for her commitment and support. Thank you, Dana, for all you do for Modena's staff and students. Okay, well, there's more. Student and Community Services Executive Director Heriberto Angel had this to say about Dana. Dana Luciani exemplifies our OUSD core values as an integral member of our school nurse team. Dana takes pride in her work serving the students of the district and working collaboratively with the team to maximize our school health services. Her efforts are reflective of the school nurse profession as a whole, and her dedication is shown in the outstanding care provided to our students. The Students and Community Services team is grateful for Dana's contributions and commitment to excellence. We want to thank Dana for representing OUSD's EDGE values. She will be awarded with a customized EDGE tumbler with her name engraved, a gift card from Schools First, and a framed Employee of the Month certificate. Congratulations, Dana. The Board of Education thanks you for your dedication and devotion to the Orange Unified School District.
If she has any family here, would we like to also take a picture with any family that's here?
Thank you. Would you like to say a few words, or?
Mr. Angel and Mr. Gonzalez, do you two want to get in the picture?
Do you want to get in the picture? Come get a picture, Sandra. And
Is Sandra Preciado here
Sandra,
still?
come get a picture
Oh,
with me,
please come up. I can't see her.
I would just like to say that I'd love to accept this award on behalf of all of our school nurses who I have helped throughout all my years. So, to the school nurses.
Could we have the school nurses stand up, please, that are here supporting her? Thank you. And if you'd like to get a picture with the school nurses, we can do that. We can have them come up.
School nurses come up.
Thank you so much for your service in our schools.
Oh, you want to go?
That's great.
Okay, our next recipient for the evening is Joseph Conway. Nutrition Services Director Jamie Sanchez had this to say about Joseph. Come on. I'll hand this to you so you can hold it and I can read. Nutrition Services Director Jamie Sanchez had this to say about Joseph. Joseph Conway exemplifies OUSD's core values of respect and excellence. He is dedicated to providing excellent customer service to the schools where he delivers food and is always willing to jump in and assist his colleagues and the department whenever help is needed. Joseph keeps the genuine wellness and safety of all OUSD students at the heart of everything he does. Not only does he take the time to smile and acknowledge students and faculty while making his daily deliveries, he goes above and beyond by participating in school fundraising activities and by taking a moment to shoot a few hoops with kids on the basketball court. His action not only brightens our students' day, but also contributes to a positive school culture where our students feel seen, heard, and valued. Nutrition Services is grateful for Joseph's hard work, dedication, and student-centered approach to excellence. Now, California Elementary Principal Misty Brunasso had this to say about Joseph. Joseph Conway exhibits respect in all things that he does. He greets our students with a smile. He patiently waits for traffic to move, and for the few minutes he is at California each day, he is an integral part of our staff. Even at 6 o'clock in the morning, he has a warm greeting for everyone he encounters. Recently, we were doing a fundraiser, and he went out of his way to participate and engage with our students and staff. He is essential in building community with the way he treats our students. We are fortunate to have Joseph as part of our California Bear family. We want to thank Joseph for representing OUSD's EDGE values. He will be awarded with a customized EDGE tumbler, and with his name engraved, a gift card from Schools First, and a framed Employee of the Month certificate. Congratulations, Joseph. The Board of Education thanks you for your dedication and devotion to the Orange Unified School District. Do you have family members here?
I believe we have Nutrition Services staff here and family as well.
Do you all
If
wanna
they'd
come
like
up?
to come up and take a picture. We have Jamie Sanchez. Yeah, Jamie Sanchez, who's our Director of Nutrition Services. And
There we go. Very nice.
congratulations.
He does have an awesome smile. Okay, I always feel like that's a long walk. All right, we'll go on to item F, proclamation, National School Psychology Awareness Week, November 7th to 11th, 2022. And Trustee Moffitt's going to be reading the proclamation.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. This proclamation says as follows. Shall I ask the psychologist? Oh,
Yes, you
Yeah, she knew.
Dr. Perales. Dr. Perales. Thank you for being here. Of course. This is to celebrate National School Psychology Awareness Week, November 7th through 11th, 2022. Better late than never, huh?
Yes.
Whereas children and youth learn best when they are healthy, supported, and receive an education that enables them to thrive academically, socially, and emotionally. And whereas schools can more effectively ensure that all students are able to learn when they meet the needs of the whole child and provide integrated, multi-tier supports. And whereas children's mental health is directly linked to their learning and development, and the learning environment provides an optimal context to promote good mental health through connectedness within the school and community. And whereas sound psychological principles are integral to instruction and learning, school safety, social and emotional development, prevention, early intervention, and support of culturally diverse student populations. And whereas School psychology has more than 60 years of well-established, widely recognized, and highly effective practice and standards that are clearly articulated in the National Association of School Psychologists Model for Comprehensive and Integrated School Psychological Services. And whereas school psychologists are specially trained to foster and to deliver in the school and community a continuum of mental health services and academic supports that lower barriers to teaching and learning. And whereas school psychologists help children thrive by nurturing their individual strengths across both personal and academic endeavors. And whereas school psychologists are trained to assess student and school-based barriers to learning and individual strengths, utilize data-based decision-making, implement research-driven prevention and intervention strategies, evaluate outcomes, and improve accountability. And whereas Orange Unified School District recognizes the vital role that school psychologists play in the personal and academic development of our children. Therefore, the Orange Unified Board of Education does hereby proclaim November 7th through 11th, 2022 as School Psychology Awareness Week, dated the 17th day of November, 2022, and signed by all board members. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for all. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do for all of our students. Would you like to say a few words?
On behalf of the school psychologists, I am honored to accept this proclamation. Thank you.
Thank you. Missed ourselves a little early.
It's my first time doing this, so.
Me too. No. In the front? Okay.
Thank you, and congratulations. Our school psychologists are so needed right now, and we appreciate you. Okay, we'll go on to item 4G, Innovation and Excellence Report, Running Springs Academy. I want to thank all the parents and students for waiting. I know it's a long night, and so we appreciate that.
Thank you. Good evening, Board President Yamasaki, Board members, Superintendent Hansen, and Executive Cabinet. This evening I'll have one short presentation, then we'll go to the robotics. I would like to present on an innovation and excellence update on the IB program at Running Springs. We created a video which was produced in coordination with Brandy Gower, the IB coordinator, Christy Yokoyama, the principal at Running Springs Academy, and the communications department. Our purpose was to highlight the IB program and its core tenets to help the community understand all IB can offer their students. The video highlights the primary years program, as we have just received World School status for that program. We are expanding to the middle years program next year and already have 47 individuals on the interest list for 7th grade, and are continuing to market the innovative program that will align to Canyon High School's IB diploma program. I have given you a brochure of the program, and then we can start the video.
The IB believes that we can use education to make the world a better place. It's not just about the academics. The IB program focuses on developing the whole child. It's a holistic approach to education.
I do have 2 older children, and as a parent, I wish they were a part of the IB program because I feel they would have a better understanding of how different cultures really impact our everyday lives. We seem a little bit different, but we're really not. We want the same things, and we're all part of the same global community.
Something that's unique about the IB program is how we build our units of inquiry. We take the California state standards and we connect them to universal concepts. We then use the different subject areas to teach to those universal concepts.
For me, the IB program has been a great way to expand
children's thinking and children's learning in a deeper way.
The students focus on becoming problem solvers. They're learning to recognize problems in their local and global communities, and then they brainstorm ways that they can solve those problems.
Parents should know about the IB program because it enables their child to be critical thinkers. It engages them in lifelong learning skills. It also allows the children to be active and going out into their community and making a difference.
Our students are learning that they have the power to make a positive change in the world. The kids become more knowledgeable, more caring, better communicators. It's really a holistic approach to education.
And so when you're able to teach kids in a way that is meaningful, when you get to see their little faces light up like, aha, I got it. That is such the moment that makes it worthwhile as a teacher. For all the other times where you're maybe not so sure, those moments like going, we can do this. And so that's what IB does.
Okay, and we'll go into the second presentation, which was all about our C-STEM robotics. So we have a partnership with UC Davis with their C-STEM robotics program. It's a program that integrates math concepts and robotics, making math more tangible for our students. As a principal at McPherson Magnet, I had the opportunity to see C-STEM firsthand because we brought it on about 8 years ago. I knew this was a game changer when students in 3rd grade were explaining adding negative integers in order to make the robot backtrack. This was a concept many of our middle school students struggled with. Student learning outcomes included learning the degrees of angles, rate equations, and equations of a line, all by utilizing block coding, and eventually they learned C++ language. I would like to introduce Greg Miller. He is our district's C-STEM resource teacher and a past C-STEM Teacher of the Year award winner. This year, we had 2 educators that were recognized by UC Davis as being exceptional C-STEM educators across the state. First, we have Lori Trong. She is one of 7 teachers in the entire state that were named C-STEM Teacher of the Year for 2022. And we can bring up Mrs. Godsey as well. Mrs. Godsey is her principal. She's a CTE teacher from McPherson Magnet, has been utilizing C-STEM program for over 6 years and has been successful in bringing the McPherson team to the C-STEM state championships and winning the first place ribbon across the state. Okay. And the second educator is Dr. Monica Murray, the principal of West Orange Elementary. Dr. Murray. Is she here?
She's right there.
Here she comes. She was one of 3 administrators across the state honored as an Administrator of the Year. She has been integral in bringing C-STEM school-wide at West Orange Elementary and even has her TK and kindergartners engaging in the program. I'd like to also bring up her Executive Director, Elena Rodriguez, so we can get a picture. Yeah.
Is there staff here from West Orange or?
Yes.
I think so, yeah. I see some in the back. Come on up.
And actually, we have some students here from West Orange as well.
And the students from West Orange, come and get your picture.
If I can have Lexi, Juan, and Sophia, and the families too, because it takes a village to do this.
So today we'd like to do a quick demonstration about what C-STEM robotics can do. So to start, Dr. Murray will introduce her students and teachers that are here to give a little explanation about C-STEM robotics.
I have to put this at my level. Okay. If I can have Sophia come back up, and Lexi and Juan and Aubrey. Miss Owens was here, but she had to go home real quick. But we do have Miss Wagner. Come on up. I see you. Okay, ready? Here. Okay, a lot shorter.
Hello, administrators, parents, and board members. My name is Sophia Valentin Ventura, and I am president of the Student Council at West Orange Elementary School. This is Juan Quintanilla, and Aris Cuenya, and Lexi Figueroa, and we are part of the Student Council Executive Board. At our school, we participate in the C-STEM program. During this program, we learn about robotics and coding. For example, last week, we completed the disco challenge. We had to program the robot to do a sequence dance. First, we had to calculate the total distance for a circle. Then we had to calculate the distance for multiple circles using multiplication. While we are coding, we are using our math skills to help successfully complete the tasks given. Sometimes the challenges are difficult, but with teamwork and perseverance, we are successful.
Another challenge we completed was to code and program the robot to get the treasure at a specific point and bring it back to the starting point. In order to complete this task, we had to find the distance between the points and had to use our understanding of the degree measurements of the angles to correctly navigate the robot.
As you could see from our examples, we are enjoying the program because it is fun and challenging. We are able to use what we learn in real life scenarios and see how math is important beyond the classroom. It is bringing us to the next level in our math skills.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for your time.
Amazing job. Thank you so much. And we'll go ahead and have you sit down, and we'll bring the next group up. Okay. At this time, we will have our McPherson students. So we have four fourth graders from McPherson, and I'd like to invite Mrs. Godsey, principal, up. They will be showing us how they use block coding to learn the math principles using RoboBlockly, which is a C-STEM platform you see on the screen.
I don't need them. Good evening. I'm very proud and excited to introduce one of our fourth grade teachers, Mrs. Anastasia Sosa, who's here with our students. And also four of our wonderful and maybe a little bit tired at this point students. We have Devin Torres. Come on up. Alea Lawson, Tyler Galasso, and Desiree Hall.
Sorry.
Good evening. My name is Devin Torres, and I'm a student at McPherson Magnet. I am currently in fourth grade. Last year, my classmates and I were in third grade in Mr. Miller's math class. This year, we are in fourth grade in Miss Sosa's math class. My fellow classmates are going to help me demonstrate what we do and what we are currently learning in C-STEM. First, I would like to introduce Alea. She is going to explain multiplication and the commutative property of multiplication.
So the first robot is going to be driving 8 inches and repeating that 3 times. And the second robot is going to be driving 3 inches and repeating that 8 times. And it has a color sequence block that you can see. And there will be a demonstration on the board. The first robot drives 8 and repeats that 3 times. So you can see that it ends at 24. And the second robot drives 3 and repeats that 8 times. And it ends at 24, and the factors are the same and they have the same product, but they're in different orders, so that makes it commutative property. Back to you, Devin.
I would now like to introduce Tyler. He is going to explain angles.
A 0 degrees angle is to the right. In 3rd grade, we learned what a right angle is, but we know that a right angle is 90-degree angle. A 180-degree angle would be a hoverboard turning the other way. A 360-degree angle would be somebody turning all the way around.
All right.
Lastly, I would like to introduce Desiree. She is going to show how moving a robot models adding positive and negative numbers.
The code shows forward 10 and backwards negative 15. What it's supposed to show. Equals negative 5. So, as you can see, the robot ends at negative 5. That means that 10 plus negative 15 equals negative 5.
My classmates and I would like to thank the board for taking time out of their busy schedules to experience what we are learning and teach them. Thank you and have a good night. And
Make it
a great day or not, the choice is yours.
Thank you very much. And we have to remember they're in 4th grade, so that was amazing. And our final group presenting this evening are some of our 6th graders from Portola Preparatory Academy. These students will be doing a math challenge, which you see here. So we can go from the computer screen to the actual robotics. These students are in the C-STEM robotics class, which is a math enrichment course. And the math challenge that they will be performing today is called The Message for the Pentagon. So I'm going to invite Mr. Morgan, principal of Portola, up, and he will introduce our 4 students and their teacher.
Thank you, Joe. Good evening, everybody. It's my pleasure to introduce our teacher first, Mr. Ricardo Maldonado. I'd like to introduce Nathaniel Chairez. Come on up. Miss Andrea Bribiesca Rosales. Mr. Thomas Nguyen, and Miss Kaylee Duong. Come on up, guys. All right, and now they're going to show you their stuff. You guys ready? All right.
Oh.
I got you, bud. Here you go, bud. Oh.
This side of the way.
Here.
Mr. Morgan.
So the objective of this challenge is for the color-coded robots. Red is hand-over robot, green is the spy robot, and it's the other way around, my bad. And the spy robot has to get to the hand-over robot, and the hand-over robot has to make it to the Pentagon and without going off the road.
There are 3 concepts, which is coordinates and coordinate plane, positive and negative numbers, and distance between points on a coordinate plane. The first one is coordinates and coordinate plane. So what you see right now is not a normal map. It is a big coordinate plane that has different coordinates that you can use to find out what way your link bot can travel through. The second concept is positive and negative numbers. Positive and negative numbers are important when it comes to link bots. Positive and negative numbers tell the link bots to move in certain ways. For example, if you tell your link bot to move in a positive way, it's going to move forward, and when you tell your link bot to move in a negative way, it's going to move backwards. The third and last concept is distance between points on a coordinate plane. Distances between coordinate planes are also important because they can guide what way your link bots can move. In order to find the distance, you need to first place your link bots in a certain place, like 613 and 6434. Then you have to find the difference between them and count the inches in between and apart from them.
While we were doing our challenge, we faced two major issues. One of them was the dry bark, a block whip which we knew nothing about at the time. It took us 2 days until we were able to figure out how to use it, thanks to Mr. Miller. The other problem we had to face was that the coding varies from the robo-blocking robo-blocking program and the actual map. We were able to overcome this problem by changing some of the coding.
And now the students are going to demo the challenge. So this is something that's very common when they're doing the challenges, is that when they do their program, the coding program on the RoboBlocky application, it doesn't transfer quite the same onto the actual mat. So they have to troubleshoot and figure out the coding and try it again.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell us what happened, Thomas?
I put on the RoboBlocky program, I put the bots on the wrong initial position, so it wouldn't glitch.
That was probably our fault because we moved the mat, right?
And while they're setting up, at the state competition, they're given one of these problems, a mat and a problem. And at that state competition, they have to figure all of this out. There's, I don't know, probably about 60 pieces of block coding that they're making this happen with today.
So we'll give it one more shot here and see if they can accomplish the task.
Well, while they're figuring it out, I just want to thank you for bringing these innovative programs. I want to thank the students and the teachers and the principals and everybody involved in bringing these programs and experience for our students. This is awesome.
Yes, I want to thank everyone that came out tonight for this. Thank you so much. And another skill this does teach is perseverance and grit. They have to have perseverance and grit to get through these challenges.
There it is. We got to the Pentagon. Congratulations.
Great job.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I don't know if there was any questions about either of those programs.
I see a lot of engineers and computer science majors.
Absolutely, absolutely. So they're starting with block coding, but the next step will be to do actually the C++ language where they're using actual coding. So we're moving from that in middle school.
Awesome. Do we have any questions or input?
No questions. It's just you all are incredible. And when you're talking about these things, I don't even know what you're talking about. So it's really cool. Thank you for coming and showing us.
And it's a great, I mean, this is our why. This is why we do what we do. They're amazing. So I want to thank everyone for coming out today.
Can I just say that my daughter is a computer science major, and she got her first experience at Kenyon High School. So that's when she figured out this is what I want to do, and it's because the opportunity was there at Kenyon. So, and I'm glad to see that you're starting so young. Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Irvin and all the teachers and Dr. Hansen, we are so proud of you. Students, we are so proud of you. Thank you so much.
Yes. And I also want to back up a little bit and go back to Running Springs. I want to thank Mr. Irvin, Brandy Gower, the IB coordinator, and Principal Yokoyama, and I think Mr. McLaughlin, the principal the former one, helped get it started. And so I know that is a lot of work, and our teachers put in a lot of extra time and in training and professional development to launch this program. So I want to thank everybody for that. Thank you. All right. All right, we'll go on to approval of minutes, item 5A. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from the October 20th, 2022 meeting as presented?
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, Trustee Moffitt, motioned. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Erickson, second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes 7-0. Okay, we'll move on to item 6, public comments. Trustee Page.
Yes, the guidelines for public comments are members of the audience may address the Board of Education on agenda items during consideration of that item and non-agenda items that are within the board's subject matter and jurisdiction. Speaking time is limited to 3 minutes per speaker with a maximum of 20 minutes per topic. Persons wishing to speak should submit a blue card prior to the meeting. Non-agenda items may neither be acted upon nor discussed by the board, but will be responded to by either telephone, mail, or at a subsequent meeting. We have a couple blue cards and one consent item card. Would you like the non-agendized now?
Yes.
Okay. Kim Vanderhoek.
Hi, I get to go first. My name is Kim Vanderhoek, and I'm a parent of a senior at Modena High School. Before my son became a high school student, I took the opportunity to tour each of the high schools in Orange Unified because we wanted to see what each one had to offer. Sadly, each campus had areas that were in dire need of an update, and Modena in particular stood out. I'm here tonight because I want to thank the board for your continued work on these campus improvements and your work moving them forward. I've watched each of the presentations online, and I've been fortunate enough to see Almadena's improvements in person, and the transformations are really amazing. So thank you very much. Our family really appreciates that, and I really wish that these improvements, I know the bond measure doesn't incorporate all the schools, but hopefully we can move something forward that encompasses all of Orange Unified. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Up next, Michelle Weisenberg.
Hello, I'm Michelle Weisenberg, in case you didn't know. I just wanted to publicly thank the board members that have worked so hard just for years and years, especially Kathy, just putting their all into our students and into the education of our students and making sure that every child is appreciated and every child is, their needs are all met, no matter their circumstances or what they came to our district with in what their circumstances were, be it economic or language or educationally, that we all have been, that you, Ms. Trustee Erickson, Trustee Yamasaki, Trustee Page, and Trustee Moffitt have all been such great proponents of education for all of our students and helping everyone. And especially Kathy, with all of your knowledge that you have, you're our longest running board member, and you've got so much knowledge that we couldn't live without all the background knowledge that you have on things that have been done in the past. And we really truly appreciate you and everyone that puts in all the effort. So thank you.
Farah Javadi.
Hello, board members. My name is Farah Javadi, and I've been in the community for over 23 years. My two children, my son and my daughter, are a product of the OUSD. And right now, I have one in medical school and one in law school, and we owe it to you for doing everything in your power to bring the best out of our schools, our teachers, and I've watched you for the past several years just fighting for everything, and I want to say thank you to all of you. Great board members. I also want to address Kathy tonight because she is very special. And I wrote some things down just because I didn't want to miss anything. So I hope I don't get emotional. But Kathy, how do you begin to thank you for your 21 years of service to OUSD? You've had a significant role in our schools, standing in academics excellence and helping students reach their individual potential. You were a wonderful and wise shepherd with putting student safety and wellness first. And you helped build and upgrade our schools along with many other board members here as a team. You've been the rock here for so many years. And one thing I learned from you just watching as a parent is that anything is possible when you work as a team. And that was a true gift that I saw in you in bringing everyone together, regardless of their beliefs, what they thought was priority for our schools. But that's the nurturing side of you that I saw all along, watching from distance. And I wanted to say thank you for making us better, making our schools better, making our communities better. And I want to say thank you to all of you. I hope that more people had voted this time. I think that a lot of people just took you for granted, that you're just always going to be there for us. And I hope that more people appreciate everything you've done for our schools. And anyway, I'm just one person, but I know there are many who appreciate everything you guys have done for our schools. But I want to say thank you to Kathy especially, because it's so many years that you've been here for us, and I hope you'll always be here.
Thank you, Jill.
JJ Mice.
Okay, that concludes our public comment for now. We have one more on an agenda item, right? Okay, we'll go on to 7A, action item 7A, bid number S2223-002, Orange High School, two-story classroom. Mr. Rivera?
Mrs. Yamasaki, distinguished board members, Dr. Hanson, my colleagues in cabinet, and the Orange community that's here. I'm sending you greetings. Mr. Harvey is ill and couldn't be here tonight. He really wanted to practice and he really takes pride on these bid awards because there's a lot of work that has been done. And a lot of work that's been done to get us to this point. In May, we went out to bid, and unfortunately, we only had one bid and it was way over our budget. And Mr. Harvey, working with Mr. Alonzo, which is back there, and the rest of the team, was able to successfully bring in a scope of work within our bid and actually within our budget and actually under our budget. So our Orange High project, this is the schematic of what our building is going to look like. It's a $26,000 square foot building, and it's expected to take 20 months for this construction project. Here is an illustration of what's going to be touched, and you can see on the legend all the different rooms that are going to be touched in the main building and then the classrooms in the upper section. So in our bid, we added bid alternates. And if you're not familiar with what a bid alternate is, it's the extras above the base. So when you buy a car and it comes with extras, there's some itemization of those extras. What the extras was in our bid was an entry casework. So you can see an illustration of what that's going to look like when you walk into the campus. Also, there's exterior graphs panels. So that's going to be hanging in the front of the campus. So once we consolidated everything, we have a base bid, and then they add alternates, and then the total bid, which is also awarded, the lowest responsive bidder is PCL Construction Services. You may be familiar with their work. They build the Staples Center. So, you know, if it's good for LeBron James, it's good enough for us, right? So we are asking you to take action on this bid award, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have about this bid.
Madam President?
Yes.
I have a question. This is a simple one, Mr. Rivera. The casework, is that the cabinets, the desk, define for me what casework is in that picture.
The cabinetry, the reception area, and then the associated storage.
Okay, so the things that are on ground level, not necessarily the
Correct.
piece that's coming down. Okay. Thank you.
Question.
Sure.
So in reference to the front, they're still going to have the Panther corner with the Panther and
correct
out there out front. Okay. And then thank you for the call this afternoon. In the classrooms, as we discussed, in having enough need, as you were stating, that we're having an increase in enrollment, not just at Orange, but all, and how are we going to handle that? I know you and I talked this afternoon about how the increase is. Is this enough classroom space that's going to be utilized, these 6 classrooms coupled with the lower level being, you know, kind of your administrative type functions?
So we have a challenge. In 2015 and 16, when the plans were developed as to what our school was going to look like with Measure S, we were declining by 600 to 700 students at that time. That no longer is the case. In fact, we have the third lowest level of enrollment decline in the county. So with that, we have more kids in our schools. At Orange High specifically, we have 125 kids that have enrolled into our district for the first time at Orange High. So they're coming from a charter school, a private school, outside the district. So what we're having to do is we're having to analyze not only Orange High, but the other schools, because the plans that we had initially, we're having to adjust. Also with the positions that we've added, whether it be a nurse, whether it be an administrator, or counseling services because of COVID, we're having to readdress that because that wasn't originally what was in the plans, because we weren't going through a pandemic at the time. On the agenda, we also have an item for interim housing. It's 4 classes. When we were looking at the class counts, and the other thing that has expanded our work is career tech, the CTE programs. We have the largest program in the county. So as we're doing this reconciliation of how many classes we need, because our schools look different than they were when we developed these plans in 2016, that we are doing a reconciliation. We have 4 classrooms that we're adding for interim housing that is adequate to fulfill what the school needs are right now. And after we're done with the reconciliation, we'll bring back information to the board as to what we're going to have to adjust. So the good news is that we have more kids. The bad news is now we have to figure out how we're going to house all the kids, but that's a good problem to have. Because as I've shared with the board, there's 3 things that fixes our budget. It's more kids, more kids, more kids. So this will help us. I also have here a schematic that I'm going to have Mr. Lorenzo help me pass out that shows where the portables are going to be installed. And then as we, and this is just for construction, where they're going to be installed. The project, as I said again, is a 20-month project. And I'll have Mr. Lorenzo explain some of the details of these schematics. We've enlarged the schematics so that way you can read them.
How you doing? I see you. Good.
Thank you.
So you're taking away the hoops, huh?
Take away what?
The hoops.
Yeah.
Basketball.
Yeah, they're on the basketball courts. Good evening, Madam President, board trustee members, and superintendent and guests. What you have in front of you is a blown-up schematic, the top page. If you kind of take a look at the second page, you'll look at the full site plan on that. It shows you the overall site. We blew it up just so you could see the focus on the 4 portable placements, but you see that they are placed on the basketball court closest to building 800. It's going to be underground electrical. So those dashed and dotted lines you see are where we're tapping into the electrical outlets coming out of building 800 for low voltage and high voltage power to power those portables. These are temporary portables. You do see the fire lane to the right of that portable. We did not disturb the fire lane in and out of the school property. And that safe dispersal area is just the area should emergency evacuations happen. You needed to earmark a safe dispersal area, so that upper left-hand safe dispersal area is there as well. And that's a basic overview.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
What is safe dispersal of what or whom?
When you have an evacuation, DSA
students.
just makes sure that there's an area outside the school facility, even if it's a portable, that people can be evacuated to, so safe dispersal.
Okay, these are for human beings.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
So these are going to be across from the other portables on the east side?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so kind of a modified U. Then you have the ag behind there, and then on the courts, yeah. What was this saying? There's, what is it? Nothing more permanent than a temporary?
Portable, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the portables that we're procuring, so at Villa Park, the kids love the portables because they were new, they had air conditioning. So this is a significant upgrade from what exists there.
So while you're doing this, are you going to take a look at the other ones as well that are existing behind the new science center as well? I mean, those are in some really rough shape.
All of those disappear with the construction, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So all of those, I just confirmed with Mr. Lorenzo.
At the end of phase 2.
At the end of this construction, those portables are going to be taken off the property.
So as we discussed then.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Yeah, those need to go.
Any other questions we can answer?
No, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And thank you for the call this afternoon as well.
So in summary, when we did our value engineering, we were expecting a budget of around 22 million. And you can see with this bid submittal that we're over 2 million under budget.
Great. I believe Trustee Page had a question.
Yes. It was about the classrooms upstairs. About how many students would they hold? And which classes would move up there?
The classrooms upstairs, it's 6 classrooms, so they're made to hold the 30 students per classroom capacity, but that's fluctuating. That's the design capacity.
And so which programs would be moved up?
I don't know that.
That haven't discussed yet?
Yeah.
And then with the design on the first floor, I know we've heard some public comment from Orange High School about the staff and teachers wanting input on the design of certain things or just placement of rooms or, services for the school. Were they included in the input of the layout of the new administration?
Yes, they were. And we have all those notes. We have the feedback that was all given to the architects at the time. It was quite a few meetings where we had feedback. There were changes made and things happened. However, there's a new principal there now. So it happened with the old staff and old principal.
Okay, thank you.
And we've had several meetings with our administrators, because we do have new administrators with the district, different sites. So we've had some conversations, extensive conversations over the last 3 months about what is in phase 2, some of their concerns. And that's what we're working on right now is to listen to all that and then decide how we can best approach and address what they're needing, given that we're in a different environment than what we were in 6 years ago when these plans were developed.
Madam President?
Yes.
I've got a question. The lowest bidder that we're taking here, this is something that, is it per ed code that we need to take the lowest bidder? Like, we couldn't take this, the one that came in second or anything like that? I'm just trying to clarify for the public.
We have to have reasons why not to accept the lowest bidder.
Yeah, compelling reasons kind of thing.
So the term that is used is responsible bidder.
Mhm.
So did they have all the criteria, all the standards that we established in our bid requirements? So in the past, we haven't taken the first bidder, the lowest bidder, because they were disqualified because they did not meet all the conditions. So that's the due diligence process that our purchasing department works on to make sure that they meet all the criteria that's required by our project.
But nevertheless, we have to take the lowest bidder in this process.
Correct.
'Cause we've evaluated them to whatever extent and realized that this is the lowest bidder. We have to take unless you find something compelling.
And we have spent a lot of time on this project to make sure that the lowest bidder was the most responsible bidder, and that's what we have determined. Working with council as well and asking questions.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a question I had. So we have never used PCL, right? They haven't worked
No.
on anything.
No.
It's a new name. I mean, we obviously know Balfour Beatty and Swinnerton did the first phase, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Ken. PCL is a very large contractor, nationwide contractor.
I think their authorization to do work for us was $400 million?
Something like
Yeah, I think it was $400 million worth of authorizations that they can do and projects that they can bid up to $400 million.
At the top of our pre-qualification list, one of the top.
Just want to make sure that they come in at these numbers.
That's what our job is about.
Just a real quick follow-up, because I know there was concerns with the glass, with the classrooms, and so hopefully we're going to address that as well for safety concerns, for the viewabilities in that.
That was worked out.
Yeah, that was worked out by Scott. Those doors are being changed out. Actually, they'll be in next week and they'll be painted, put in place and painted next week.
Well, as far as the new as well.
The new as well,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
design was worked out.
Okay.
I was talking about the old.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
And I'm sure the staff there appreciates it as well.
Yes.
So, thank you.
Yeah, we're keeping the principal informed.
Good, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, are there any other questions?
I'll move it if they're none.
Okay, can I get it? Trustee Ortega moves. Is there a second?
I'll second. Oh, go ahead.
Second is Trustee Rumsey. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion is adopted, 7-0. Thank you very much. All right, we'll move on to 7B. Dr. Hanson? You want to introduce the item?
7B is the information requested to bring back from our prior meeting. There was some discussion on Board Policy 1313 regarding civility, and it was requested to bring back to this agenda to see if there was an opportunity for the second reading and for final action or for more discussion.
Okay, I'm going to open the floor for discussion.
Madam President, I think with the suggested changes that the superintendent indicated, I think that meets the concerns that were brought up at our last meeting, and I think that makes this a policy that's ready to be approved, in my view.
Okay. Does anyone else have any comments or discussion? Or someone want to make a motion to move it?
Well, I'll move to approve this civility policy with the new verbiage.
Do I have a second? We can still do discussions after the second.
Okay.
If somebody wants a second.
I'll second.
Okay, Trustee Page. Okay, now, discussion. I could see Trustee Ord.
Well, I had a modification to it, and I'm sorry that I got to it today because I did. So I think we had some discussions about, my concerns were with paragraph 2 and 3, making sure that they were really focused on behavior versus content, because I think that when it comes to the First Amendment, it's really important that we protect content of speech, while also civility being a regulation of action, I guess, so to speak, and that is something that we can regulate. So I'll read to you what I had suggested, replace paragraphs 2 and 3. I don't know if that would be an amendment or what it would be, but I'll go ahead and read what I have. So if I took out paragraph 2 and paragraph 3, I would replace it with, the First Amendment provides robust protection of speech and expression as set forth in federal and California state court precedent. Consistent with that precedent, the board expects that speech and expression will comport with norms of peaceful, nonviolent, and civil behavior on district grounds, in district facilities, during district activities or events, and in the use of district electronic digital systems and platforms. Civil behavior is that which comports with the rule of law, rules and policies of the board, and is reasonable, appropriate, courteous, and respectful of others. So I'll move to amend, reading it just as is with the previous crossing out of embracing in paragraph 4 and replacing paragraphs 2 and 3 with my new paragraph. So I guess the motion would be to amend.
Okay.
I'll second.
Kathy seconds. Trustee Moffett, sorry.
Well,
So can I just be clear what's on the table? Sorry, I want to make sure I understand what just happened. So you just amended with that paragraph, and we had a first and a second, correct?
Correct.
And now we can still do discussion?
Now it's discussion, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No, but what if there was still discussion to be had before the amendment?
So you're going to be discussing the amendment first. We'll vote on the amendment, and then you can, right? Am I correct? Yes. Okay.
Okay, but never was there any discussion prior to the amendment? I think we could have voted on the amendment after full discussion was done on the actual, I'm just.
Well, I can withdraw the motion if we want,
No,
and we can
that's fine,
still have
that's
the
fine.
discussion.
I'm trying to understand this, is
No,
the thing.
I get it. I know it's procedurally, it's weird, so.
Yeah, I'm thinking you take full discussion on the first round.
Okay.
And then that doesn't make the amendment go away. It just
Right.
means that there's amendment that will be voted on.
Okay.
So,
ahead
and that's
and-
fine. No, I'm
I
just,
mean, you can go ahead and give your input now, and we can just.
right, I'm just
I think what we
addressing
could
the
do is you
procedure.
guys could vote whether or not to amend it or not, and then we discuss the whole thing. You can
Right,
still vote
exactly.
no on the whole thing if you want.
Exactly. I'm
But
just,
if we vote on the amendment, then, and it passes, then there's no more discussion.
Yes, there is, because
No.
then we're back to the original, whether or not we pass the whole civility policy. Right now, it's just an amendment to amend
to
the
the
policy.
civility policy.
Okay.
Then if it's amended, this is my understanding, then
Yes,
we
yes,
discuss
yes.
and vote whether or not
Okay.
to.
So we're voting to amend the
Right,
civility
right.
policy. So we have a first and a second.
Okay.
So, all those in favor of an amendment?
Aye.
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 All those opposed?
No?
So that's, Angie, were you?
I said aye.
Okay, so it was 5-2.
Okay.
Okay. So now we are going to have discussion
Right.
on the amendment.
On the amendment.
Exactly. So
Okay.
now the discussion is on the amendment and whether or not you take a vote on the amended,
Right.
Amended policy.
the amended policy with the insertion,
Right,
what was read for those paragraph 2 and 3.
Correct.
right. My question on this is, if somebody violates the policy, what happens? I'm just throwing out to the board, what's supposed to happen if somebody,
Well, Dr. Hanson, I mean,
Well, our hope is this is a rare occasion, but there is a reference in the code to, there could be penalties, so then it comes to a point where, the board policy is referenced to whatever situation is occurring that may violate this, and usually once it's referred to, everything is fine, calm down, everything's okay. But if it continues, there is an opportunity to pursue some form of action related to the legal codes, is my understanding. But we've never had that kind of circumstance.
what's an example or specific detail of what
I
somebody's?
couldn't give you it because we've never had that kind of situation, so I'm not aware of anything ever happening to that extent.
Okay, and who is, when we find or we think somebody has violated the policy, who makes that call? Like who is the enforcer of this, and how are they measuring this person or that person has violated the policy?
I mean, I think it's like any other policy we have. As a board, we are guided by policy. That's what we are. We're a board.
What's the measurement,
School board.
though? What's the measurement?
Well, I think it's reasonableness, and that's an objective standard, right? We get to, you're going to have, obviously, this isn't like a criminal code where somebody's going to get charged with something, but what it is it's a tool, in my reading of what our policies are, it's a tool for somebody like a principal or a president of our board to be able to utilize to prevent or stop or guide future behavior. So if somebody comes in, they know we have a civility code, they know what our expectations are, and they know that if they violate those expectations, then they will be asked to leave the meeting or whatever the consequences are. If it's a legal violation, that's something different. If it's a principal who has a parent that comes screaming in their office, cussing at them and yelling at them, which is happening right now, that this is a policy that they can cite to ask them to leave and to ask them to change their behavior and to tell them that they will not discuss this until they've changed their behavior. I think it's a guiding principle. It's a guiding policy.
I don't know how it's different than a principal being able to do that now without a policy. I would think that any principal would be of a reasonable mind to be able to say, Mr. Smith, you cannot come in here and speak to me that way. I'm going to ask you to leave this campus. I think principals do it all the time, or have that capability to do that.
I believe principals were asked whether or not they thought a civility policy would help or hinder, and 81% of our principals, is that the...
It's 89.5%.
89.5% of the principals indicated that they believe that the civility policy would be helpful to them in their daily interactions because it's something solid that they can point to, where parent comes in, they start yelling, and, we don't have anything to say, hey, this is against the rules. Now we know what the rules are.
No, because we don't know what is going to be the outcome. I mean, we don't have any kind of disciplinary action that we've outlined or anything. I mean, I just asked what happens, and all we say is some ambiguous disciplinary action. What does that entail?
Not disciplinary action.
Well, that's what it says right here. It says
I think
subject to discipline in accordance with law. Of course, if someone breaks the law, that's very specific.
Right.
Yeah. So I think because this does apply to, this is all stakeholders, so it's a civility policy not only for public meetings such as this, but it's for, interactions on campus, it's amongst students, it's how students treat each other, it's about staff and just employees in general. So I think there is, civility in the workplace and how people treat one another, and that would be handled by Mr. Gonzalez if there was any behavior that was out of line in terms of the policy. That would be handled through our HR department. We have student discipline for incidents that occur that are bullying of nature or harassment. We have guiding policies for that. That would be handled in that manner. With the community, of course, we welcome all our community members, and I think, and the parents as well. And I think if something did happen, the principals or any individuals in the office, whether it's transportation, the business office, this would be used as a tool to say, I can ask you to leave because you're violating our civility policy. I'd like to help you. We're here.
So we don't have any policies in terms of, if somebody is getting if somebody's being approached and is approaching someone else and then threatening, approaching one of our employees in a threatening manner, if the public is approaching one of our employees in a threatening manner, whether it be a principal, a teacher, what have you, we don't have policies against that?
Not like this, no, we don't have anything
Not
like
like
this.
this.
We don't have
How-
anything like this.
How could we miss that? How could we miss, somebody getting a sense of a threatening manner on campus for so many years?
Well, we have a safety in the workplace policy, but that has to
Okay.
do more with, it doesn't go into this area of civility. It has to do more with safety and things happening in the workplace. But that's not this. This is
So our
very different.
employees, prior to this, our employees being threatened on campus by someone, we had nothing in place in terms of policy for them to.
I'll ask Mr. Gonzalez. I mean, we do have non-discrimination in the workplace, non-harassment.
Yep, I understand
Yes,
that.
we do have that, but
Okay.
not civility in terms of the entire stakeholder group. That's why this is different.
You're talking about a different issue, too. You're talking about something that's threatening. Obviously,
Well,
a threat or
civility,
a crime
yeah, I
is
mean-
much different.
Well, no.
Yes,
I didn't-
it is.
I'm not talking,
This
you're
is-
taking it to the crime level.
No.
I'm just talking about somebody feeling uncomfortable at the workplace, a measure of uncivil behavior. I would think that it's just common sense that that person, that our employee would feel comfortable enough to just say, I'm sorry, but you're going to be, I'm going to ask you to leave.
One would think, and yet it's still happening, so.
I just don't think that this is any different than what we already have in our policies. We don't have a measure. Nobody's told me here, what's the measure? What's the measurement? I mean, somebody being not very civil with me, my measurement is probably different than your measurement, than Mr. Ortega's measurement. There's no teeth to this. It's a piece of paper. We already have things in place. We can, right now, I mean, in the past, sitting on this board, we had attorneys telling us that the board president and other board, we're the law up here. We can actually ask, if we had, in the past we've had police officers here, we can ask a police officer to move somebody. So we've had the power to do all this, but now we're going to raise a piece of paper at them without having any kind of level of understanding of violation or whatever. I mean, again, everyone's level of it's a very subjective. You say it's objective. No, it's not objective. It's very subjective as to somebody acting in not a very civil manner. Your interpretation of it may be different than mine.
Well, we have policies on harassment,
Right.
and harassment also is subjective.
I'm not even talking about harassment. I'm just talking about somebody just feeling uncomfortable with somebody. I mean, we have all that.
Well, I'm just comparing. Like harassment is subjective as well. Like, what do you consider harassment to one person could be different than to another person. And so, but this is just telling the community, as a policy, our board agrees that there's certain behavior and norms that we expect.
But we haven't defined that, though. What behavior? To what
I think it
extent? To
says
what
so right
measurement?
here.
Defined within the policy. Did you read it? I mean, it's right here. It's really, I'm sorry.
Did I read it?
Yeah, I'm wondering, because it's all right in here.
I see that.
Yeah.
But we don't, but like I said, it's subjective. Do you understand?
Well, harassment
do you
is
understand
also
what
subjective.
means?
Do you know what interruption is? Because that isn't subjective. Encouraging participation, that's not really subjective.
I mean, all these things that we outline here, like I said, each individual, it measures it differently. So we've not defined what the measurement is here for us. But again, what any board member here feels at any point in time, they can make a decision right there, then and there.
But this
No,
is
it
not,
doesn't need to be.
this is not just for board meetings, but this is
I
for
understand
the
that. I
district
understand
and
that. I understand
across
that. I understand that.
all of our schools.
But shame on us if our employees have not felt a sense of empowerment to be able to take care of uncivil behavior on their campuses. Is that what you're telling me?
Mhm.
We've not empowered our employees to handle uncivil actions on their campuses until now, because we have this to wave at the public? I mean, it's got to be one or the other.
Obviously, we have different interpretations of what this means.
Again.
If I may
You-
join in
you've
the
made my case.
conversation. If I may join in the conversation, I think uncivil behavior has been on the rise, and I think that it's become more of a problem. And so I think that's why our employees and lots of people within the district would like to have something that outlines the importance of civility and gives them a little backing if they want to say, this is not okay, and it's not just me that says so. It also is in alignment with the board-adopted policy, and that's our job as a board, to adopt policy. And the whole first paragraph of this policy explains, recognizes the impact that civility has on the effective operation of the district, including its role in creating a safe and positive school climate and enabling a focus on student well-being, blah, 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 blah. That's why we need it, so that we can be effective, so that we can be safe, we can have a positive school climate.
Thank you, Kathy. I just think that this is something political that came out of the pandemic and came out of some of our meetings, and all of a sudden, board members have this sense of fear, and they think they have to have this policy when they've had the empowerment all the time, forever. And again, if our employees on our campuses are ever feeling uncomfortable or that being treated in a not very civil way, then we have made a terrible communication error in not communicating to them. You have the power to turn away or turn people away who are not being very civil with you.
Question?
I mean, this policy is not going to change a thing. It's not going to change a thing. It's not going to change anything in terms of our policies and what we already have in place. And also just human behavior. If I'm having a discussion with somebody and they're not being very civil, I'm either going to turn away or ask them to leave or what have you. So my only point is that this is just unnecessary. I think we already have all this in place, and we just haven't expressed it enough and shared it enough with our staff. And that's, again, shame on us.
I'll just say, this is a policy, this is something, it's an expectation that we have, it's something that we have out in the public, it's what we are supposed to be modeling, it's what we expect, it's what we say about our district. If you think it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter to you, but it might matter to somebody else that needs this as a tool to help them. And I know you as a, strong man may not feel threatened by people, but you know what? Some other people may not feel as empowered. And I do think that having policies in place that you can utilize and that have the backing of the board, our backing that says, we've got your back, we believe that you should be treated with dignity and respect. I think that's important. Again, you don't have to think it's important, you can vote no on it, but I don't think it has to have.
I never said that it wasn't important, I said it was unnecessary.
Okay. Well, I want to give other board members an opportunity to chime in. Otherwise, I can just call for a vote.
I would like to add on a little bit. You can understand it, and as Mr. Ledesma's pointed out, is where's the measurements on it? We have to be able to measure something, and how do you measure the civility of somebody? And it just doesn't exist. If someone's yelling in your face and they're, a couple inches away versus somebody who's yelling at you versus a distance. And then as Ms. Erickson said, I don't have anything in front of me, but I'm just trying to remember, I think you said something virtually as well. And if that's the case, we're getting into the whole nother realm of social media is the way I understand that. And so now we're going to have a policy against people providing their free speech on social media virtual. Again, I don't have anything in front of me. I'm going off memory of what you just read. So now we're going down a whole nother avenue of trying to restrict people what they can say on social media, when that's their First Amendment right. Coupled with, that's their First Amendment right to come up here. I've said that many times. You can come and yell at us all day long. That's what we have to take. We're the electeds. They have the right to do that. They agree, they disagree. I've taken my hits from this dais, I can't tell you how many times. And it's like, okay, well, God bless you. And you move on. It's just, you know, it's like in law enforcement when people yelling at you all the time. They're yelling at the uniform. They don't know you personally, but you're doing your job. And if, as it said, is we're trying to do this for our employees or our leadership, then what type of leadership do we have? And what type of leadership are we training? Or let me reverse that. What type of training are we providing to leadership for this? You know, one thing they trained in law enforcement is verbal judo, how to de-escalate. Do we train leadership in how to de-escalate situations? If not, then we failed there. You know, we have a lot of professional development, but it doesn't seem to be going in these areas. Not one I've ever heard of is gone in this area for our leadership. And please, you know, prove me wrong if that's not true. You know, but we add a lot more, and you're saying that we want to put something forward to the public and we want to support our staff and we want to support, you know, our parents. But yet on the flip side, when I would bring a resolution forward for parents in supporting of parents, it wasn't supported. So how is this going to change from what, you know, we're supporting of parents for? And here we're going to be telling mainly adults, you know, this is how you're going to act. So government's telling you this is how you're going to act now. And when we get into the whole First Amendment here as well, I mean, I don't even want to touch it. Even come close or tip my toe into the water to see if it's warm. It just smells too fishy to do something like this. And again, we're failing then as a district if we're not providing that appropriate training for leadership and how to appropriately de-escalate situations. There's plenty of training out there for it. And how do you do that? And there's ways in how to do that. You know, are parents upset right now? Absolutely, because of the way they've been treated. And they've been treated by our staff that way. So you can't sit up here and say that the parents are treating the leadership that way just because it's just they woke up and, you know, didn't have enough coffee that day. You know, so where's the balance and how do we find out that balance? This a policy to tell people this is how you're going to have to act? I'm sorry, that just doesn't bode well. You know, if we get out there and we elaborate to the public, 99.9% of the parents out there and guardians, they're there to support their kids, they're there to support their school. I mean, you want to talk about some challenges right now, and you put this out here, coupled with, I'm still hearing a lot of the schools aren't allowing parents on campus, that they're having to jump through all these hoops to get on campus to help, because it isn't where it used to be for helping. So, I mean, if you want to open Pandora's box, by all means, I have a litany of stuff I'll bring forward, because it hasn't been addressed. And if we're talking about the improving of schools and communications, that's where you're keeping a distance of having parents and community members off campus. You're creating that divide, meaning the leadership the principals are creating that divide versus empowering it.
I think we're kind of going a little
No,
off
I know.
topic at this
It's
point.
being mentioned in all these different areas. And so,
No, but you're talking about,
again, you're talking about parents and the relationship and how to approach and where's the measurements to this. And there is no measurements. And how are you going to enforce it? There's called laws. If there's issues with parents getting in principals' faces, then call the local law enforcement to handle it. Have it reported. Problem solved. But then now we're going to come out with this, and you're going to try to threaten parents, and how do you measure that threatening? I mean, that's going to be very interesting to see. I mean, very interesting to see.
Madam President, I'm just reminded by looking at the back of this policy, these are all the citations of code that are addressed by a policy like this, starting with the United States Constitution, the First Amendment, freedom of speech and expression. Next, the California Constitution, then the Civil Code, then the Penal Code, then the Government Code, then the Education Code. These are all the legal entities, the legal expressions that have already been passed into law that are addressed in this civility policy. If my colleagues are saying, where do we get off having a civility policy? Well, I think all these are reasons why we have a civility policy. And I just wanted to ask Dr. Hansen, are these types of policies unusual in school districts or in businesses? Are we an outlier by proposing to have a civility policy?
No, no.
So they're pretty common?
Yes, yes.
They just got more popular after the pandemic. I was mostly going to talk about the civility policy, but now I'm like really disappointed in that all our staff is in fear out there, and we're coming to the rescue with the civility policy, because that's what I'm being told, that they have no recourse out there without the civility policy, because all our staff is in fear. Yeah, well, that's what it sounds like they're helpless out there to me. Like they're not going to be, they don't have reason enough to be able to say, leave this office right now.
May I interject in that? I think when I first answered some questions on this, I stated that it's very rare that this would be needed. It's in a rare circumstance, an extreme circumstance. In general, most of our interactions that I know our administrators, our teachers have are positive. So I don't think that's it's a generalization that there's something amiss out there. This is a very rare circumstance, and it does happen, but it's not something that's common. This is useful if it does happen, but it's not something that's happening all the time. I don't think that's the message that we're trying to send. It's helpful to have, but it's not something that's going to be used. It's not something that's, we have to have present all the time. Almost every single interaction that principals have, I'd say 99%, it's a very small percentage that are negative. And I just want to reiterate about de-escalation training. We do have a very experienced staff member on our team in Ed Services that does provide that training. Be happy to share that with the board.
All right.
I just wanted to mention too, those aren't mutually exclusive. Having training isn't mutually exclusive from also having a civility clause. I don't think there's anything that's at all contradictory in those two things. And I think I harken back, I think what Ruby said at the last meeting, which is students have agreements when they walk into a classroom. There's certain expectations that they have, and they sign off on that. And I think to have adults mock that is kind of probably a little sad for you. But I think that having that policy as adults is important too. Whether or not you think it has teeth or not, I think it's important that we promote civility. And that's it.
Okay. Well, I think we've gotten almost everybody's input. Trustee Ramsey, do you have anything to add? Okay. Any of the students, do you have anything to add? Oh, Ruby.
I just wanted to touch on the idea of proactivity versus reactivity. I know that one of my teachers who happens to be sitting in the audience usually, I don't think she's here today, is Karen Barone. She was my 4th grade teacher. We did a whole unit on proactivity versus reactivity. So this is things that in our school district that we are teaching and that we think are valuable to teach to our students. I think that this policy would be a proactive policy to set the expectation for people to prevent anything from happening versus having no policy, which would be a reactive response to when a situation arises where you have to kick somebody out or something like that. I think that in general, proactivity is usually better because you will never have to address a problem if you've already set the expectation. When you set the expectation, you also allow yourself to hold other people accountable. If you have no expectation that has been set because it's too subjective, as a lot of the board members were saying, you can't hold anybody accountable for it. By putting it on paper and coming up with a language that we can agree on that clarifies what that subjectivity is, which I feel like this does, with the amendment and without the amendment. I feel like the wording is similar enough to convey the same message. I just feel like making sure that you have a document that puts in place roughly what that subjectivity would be limited to is better than saying, not that I don't trust President Yamasaki, but better than saying you have full discretion of whatever. That's way more subjective than having at least wording to describe the subjectivity that you're agreeing on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay. I think since everyone had an opportunity to speak, we can, anybody else? Okay. Since we all had an opportunity to give our input, I'm just going to call for a vote at this point. So I think a motion is on the floor with the amendment. Right.
Yeah, up or down.
Yes. So I'm saying the motion was already on the floor, and we already had a second, and we had our discussion, so I will call for a vote.
We're voting on the amended
yes
policy. Okay.
Yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Bill?
No, we need to get this out there quickly. Our staff is in fear.
Motion passes 4-3. Thank you. Okay, we go to, we have no information discussion items, so we'll go to consent items. Consent items are acted upon by one motion. However, any such item can be considered separately at a board member's request and will be acted upon following approval of the consent items. Would anyone like to pull an item or move to approve?
I would like to pull an item.
Okay, what item is that?
I think it's still numbered the same way, 13I.
13I?
Yes. And then we do have a public comment for consent items for number 9.
For number 9? Okay, hold on. Let me go.
Is it first 5?
Yes.
It's this one. I think, is it I?
13I.
13I.
Amendment number 1 to first 5
I told
Orange
the wrong
County
one.
Children and Families Commission Agreement.
Yes.
Okay, so does anyone want to move to approve the rest of the consent items without 13I?
Do we have a speaker on the consent?
Oh, yes, that's right. Agenda item number 9. Consent item. Is
Oh.
there a specific
No, it just says
number?
9.
Okay.
Michelle Weisenberg.
If I'd realized the last thing you guys were going to talk about was what I'm talking about, I would have put it on the previous one. But trustees Ortega and Ledesma have made my point brilliantly. So my name is Michelle Weisenberg, and I'm here to speak about a few topics. First, it seems like Mr. Ledesma is going to be with us for another 4 years, and it would behoove Mr. Ledesma to improve his skills as a sitting trustee. First, I suggest that he read his Friday packet each and every Friday from beginning to end. Mr. Ledesma is as woefully unprepared for meetings as Mr. Ortega generally
fall
is.
under our civility?
This isn't.
And the other trustees, school district staff, and people in attendance are subjected to long, drawn-out meetings
This
as
is
district
civility,
staff explains to the two men about whatever
She's kinda
topic
raising
it
her
is
voice.
that particular month that they don't understand. That even I, a bored housewife just sitting in the audience, understands completely.
What's the consent item?
I
Madam
also
President?
suggest that Mr. Ledesma take advantage of the fact that he can contact
Yeah,
it to
it's-
Dr. Hanson's office at any
This-
point
this is
to
out of
ask
order,
for
'cause it's not even
explanations
an
on
consent
topics
item.
that befuddle him. This also applies to consent items that the two men
No, it's
routinely
out of
pull
order,
so they can
but-
ask
but it's okay
inane
though, right?
questions.
No, it's-
It's possible that they aren't as unintelligent as they appear. Perhaps this is all political theater. They and Mrs. Rumsey did manage to spend 31 minutes last month and then 33 minutes this month quibbling over semantics about the words civility and polite in a board policy that is suggested by the California State School Board Association and is routine in most school districts, despite attempts from trustees Erickson and Yamasaki to make compromises. What can we look forward to this month? This brings us directly into social emotional learning. The board needs to understand, especially during School
Madam President,
Psychology
this is out
Awareness
of order.
Week,
This is not in
that
the
the
consent
mental
item
health of our
agenda.
I guess
students
it's
is
okay. This is
extremely
a
important,
subjective,
especially
right,
now. I hope
selection here.
trustees Ortega, Ledesma, and Rumsey were paying
So,
attention
you're
to the
telling-
proclamation
You're telling
that
me to
trustee
stop?
Moffett read just a few minutes ago.
She's off.
The whole topic
Madam
is being
President, come on.
politicized by
You know this
Ortega,
is wrong.
Rumsey, and Ledesma.
You know this is wrong.
Sorry, Ms. Weisenberg, I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
Yeah,
Please stop.
No, you know this is wrong.
No.
You know this is wrong, but it's okay. It's okay.
I am speaking about
You are,
consent
she is raising her
items.
voice. This is wrong. This is all about civility.
This is
right?
my voice. I'm a teacher.
You know,
My voice is like this.
so you
My
know this
voice
is wrong.
carries across an entire playground.
But I know she's aligned with you, so
can
that's
whisper.
why it's okay.
I'll whisper.
No.
I think it's selective civility is what we're talking about. here.
Listen, we had to listen to you pontificate for
No,
30
she is
or
out
40
of order.
minutes.
Amendment right
I think
to
she is out
speak
of order. I
at
think
the
we're talking about civility here, and I think she is out of order.
Last
And
month, the name Becky
you are
Bailey was
not
brought up a lot in regards to the
acting
conscious
properly,
discipline
President
program.
Yamasaki.
Excuse me, Ms. Weisenberg. Please allow our speaker to finish.
Of course,
All right?
because she is aligned with you, and she is not speaking
That is
to-
not why. It's
she-
because I'm speaking to consent
did
item
not-
9. That is what I put my speaking card in for.
And she's off topic then. She's off
I'm
topic.
not. I'm talking about consent. I began by talking about consent items. If you hadn't spoken through it all, you would have
Her
heard
time
me
is up.
say that.
So what do we do
Well,
now?
you interrupted her, so we
What do we
get
do
to
now?
reset the clock so that
How-
the time
where's that in our
will
policy?
go.
You can sit there and
She can-
continue to
Where's
be a
that in our
complete
policy?
buffoon.
Where's that in
You
our
are
policy?
interrupting her. Our policy is that we give every speaker
Right,
their
and her time is up.
You
Because
talked
you
through my time.
interrupted her.
Where's that in the policy?
You
Where are
interrupted her.
interruptions in the policy? I thought we have a.
Our
we have a-
policy is
You
that
kidding?
you are supposed to not say anything and let
And we
her
have a
speak.
policy about civility, and and she
You
is
are
off
exactly why
topic.
we need this policy.
I mean, she's raising her voice at us, or at me, anyway.
You are exactly why
So
we need this
civility
civility
is-
policy.
This is a joke.
Mr.
You're a
Ledesma,
joke.
you are out of order.
You-
Let her speak. Let her
No,
speak.
this is a joke.
You're a joke.
This is an example of what.
Listen, we listened to you bloviate for 33 minutes. You
it's
can
just-
listen to my 3 minutes.
It's just, this is just amazing. This is obvious that.
You're
that
amazing.
You folks
And by
are
that I mean
accepting of
amazingly
this.
bad.
This is really disappointing. Very disappointing.
Last month, the name Becky Bailey was brought up a lot in regards to the Conscious Discipline Program. Trustee Rumsey even read out misinformation from a bogus website that she claims is from Conscious Discipline. But with no opportunity for rebuttal, her deliberately misleading statements just hung there as though they are fact, which I'm sure was the whole idea.
We're not even timing her.
Last month was also spent bringing
How
Mr.
long-
Ortega up
how long
to
is your 3
speed
minutes?
and explaining things to him, even
it
though he
6
was
minutes or 3
informed
minutes?
in the previous few
Right.
months on this
I'm
topic.
sorry, Mr. Ledesma.
Well, I mean, they're interchangeable in their
So my suggestion is,
arrogance.
if you want to take a recess and determine where
How much
this
time is
falls in
left on her?
public comment and how much time has been spent to finish her comment, she does have a right to give public comment.
She does, but on a consent item, specific to a consent item, and this is not anything
Consent-
related to
It
consent
was two
items on
consent
here.
items.
I think what's happening is she's referring, as I'm hearing her speak, she wants to talk about consent items in general, and she's referring to consent items from the last board meeting.
Correct.
So I'm not sure where that falls. This
Well,
is
we have to address tonight's board
right.
agenda
So it
items.
probably should go at the end of the meeting
No, it
under
should have gone
non-agenda.
under non-agenda
comment.
items.
I
Yes,
believe it's under non-agenda, probably
Is
at the
there
end
a
of the
difference
meeting.
between non-agenda and just general public comment? Are
I
they
was
the same
I was
thing?
trying to figure it out as you were speaking because you did mention a lot of consent items.
What a
consent
circus.
items, but it was not.
That you are the clown.
Yeah,
All
it was
right.
consent items from the previous board meeting, so I think your item is probably better at the end of the meeting under public comments where we have that.
It should
Is
have-
that different
Non-agenda.
from the public
It
comments
should
that
have
you did
gone
earlier?
under non-agenda items. This was a non-agenda item that she's speaking to because she's talking about previous meetings' agenda items.
I think this is a call of the president.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just intervened to say that it's a suggestion that you may want to do that, but you can.
Okay, what I'll do, we'll go ahead and do consent items, and then we'll give you an opportunity to speak during public comment under
Okay.
item number 17, under non-agenda items.
Okay, are the trustees going to sit and listen, or are they going to get up and run away once those consent
Well,
items are done?
we're not following protocol, so that's fine. It's,
Like you do, ever.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve consent items without 13I?
Yeah, 13I.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Consent item passes 7-0. Okay, trustee Page, you remove
Yes.
13I?
13I. I'd like to abstain from 13I, so I just wanted to pull it out because I wanted to continue with the rest of the consent items.
Okay,
Got it.
all right. Is there a motion to approve 13I?
I'll move it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Moffett, second. Any discussion?
I just want to say kudos for OUSD getting all of these grants to help us provide things without impact to our general fund. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion, comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So 13I passes 7-0.
I abstain.
Oh, I'm sorry, 6-0-1. Okay. Okay, now we'll go on to item 17, public comments. Do we have any non-agendized public comments? Joe Weisenberg.
My name is Michelle Weisenberg, and I'm here to speak about a few topics. First, it seems we have Mr. Ledesma here with us for another 4 years. It would behoove Mr. Ledesma to improve his skills as a sitting trustee. First, I suggest he read his Friday packet each and every Friday from beginning to end. Mr. Ledesma is as woefully unprepared for meetings as Mr. Ortega is, and the other trustees, school district staff, and people in attendance
Didn't we
are
already hear
subjected
this?
to long, drawn-out meetings as district staff explains to the two men about whatever topic it is that particular month that they don't understand, that even I, a bored housewife just sitting in the audience, understands completely. I also suggest that Mr. Ledesma take advantage of the fact that he can contact Dr. Hansen's office at any point for explanations on topics that befuddle him. This also applies to consent items that the two men routinely pull so that they can ask inane questions. It's possible that they aren't as misunderstanding as they appear. Perhaps this is all political theater. They and Mrs. Rumsey did manage to spend 31 minutes last month, and now many, many minutes this month, quibbling over semantics about the words civility and polite in a board policy that is suggested by the California State School Board and is routine in all school districts, despite attempts from trustees Erickson and Yamasaki to make compromises. What can we look forward to this month? That's when I thought I was going to be speaking earlier in the meeting. This brings us directly into social emotional learning. The board needs to understand, especially during School Psychology Awareness Week, that the mental health of our students is extremely important, especially now. I hope trustees Ortega, Ledesma, and Rumsey were paying attention to the proclamation that Trustee Moffett read out loud just a little while ago. This whole topic is being politicized by Ortega, Rumsey, and Ledesma. Last month, the name Becky Bailey was brought up a lot in regards to the conscious discipline program. Trustee Rumsey even read out loud misinformation from a bogus website that she claims is from Conscious Discipline, but with no opportunity for rebuttal, her deliberately misleading statements just hang there as though they are, in fact, fact, which I'm sure is the entire idea. As someone who likes to remind everyone about his years of experience on our board, Mr. Ortega is also routinely uninformed and ill-prepared. Ortega questions, what are we teaching our kids? With his whopping 2 site visits a year and 34 missed board meetings in just 5 years, how would he know what we're teaching our kids? He's obviously not connected to the district. This pearl-clutching and fake outrage are all part of a larger movement in the United States to manipulate gullible citizens through misinformation and fear tactics. Some people might fall for that, but the intelligent people in the room do not. We see you, we see what you are doing, we see through you, and we will be calling you out in public, to your face, every month. Thank you.
Okay, number 18, board staff conference and comments. Any comments? Okay, 19. Well, first of all, I'd like to just say to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving on that note. And it's time for us to spend time with our families and think about the things that we are grateful for. So we are adjourned at 9:50 p.m.